Hi everyone, Marine here for FAWN. Today we are going to make this monochromatic Halloween Tada diorama featuring the Spooky Village, probably my favorite Halloween stamp set. I like to use it every year for the spooky season, and I am going to bring back the ghosts from Myuu, another favorite of mine. So let's check out all the things we're going to use today. We have most of the images from Spooky Village. Two ghosts, the broom, witch hat and the spider from Myuu, the tombstone from Spooktacular, the pumpkin bucket from Costume Party, the small pumpkin from Happy Harvest, the small grass from Extraordinary Easter, the ghost, the cat and one of the greetings from Tiny Halloween. We have the Tada diorama die set, the Starry Sky background hot foil plate, a handle piece from the Double Slider Surprise die set, the string piece from the Scalloped Boxcard Pop-Up die set, the smallest simple wavy banner die, and the grey paper from the Let It Shine Starry Skies paper pack. So here I have all my stamped and die-cut images. I stamped them all using FAWN Gel Black ink, and I am going to color everything using grey and black shades to achieve a cool and fun monochromatic look. I am starting with this little house, and before I leave you with some spooky music, just a quick word about how my monochromatic process works. It is very easy. The image I am about to color, I am first picturing it in my head with colors. For example, on this house, I am seeing the walls, let's say in a light brown, so I am using light shades of grey to color those walls. Next, the door, let's say it's a medium green, then I am using medium shades of grey to color that door. And finally the roof, maybe it is a dark brown, so I am using dark shades of grey, almost black to color that roof. And that's it, nothing more. I hope it sounds clear, and most of all, if you haven't tried the monochromatic coloring yet, I hope that it will help you to make a try. So we are done with the images. I want the back of my diorama to be shiny, so I am going to foil a black licorice panel. My hot foil machine is ready, so I am placing the plate on it with the stars facing up. Next, I am adding a piece of silver foil with the shiny side facing down, the piece of cardstock. Next, I am putting on top the plates that come with the machine and 3 extra pieces of cardstock. Next, I can press the timer button, and once that button stops blinking, I can disconnect the system from the base and run it through my die cutting machine back and forth 2 times. Now let's put the system back on the base, and we can reveal a gorgeous panel that will look amazing in our little scene. Next, we can start working on the diorama. I cut the back panel out of the panel we just foiled, and I cut another panel out of shimmery black cardstock. We have 2 starry panels that will open and shut our diorama. 2 insert pieces, I cut them out of grey wood grain cardstock, and we have 2 bends. So first, we are going to work with the pieces that makes the front of the diorama. And I am going to start by cutting an opening in the middle of the panel. I am using washi tape to keep the die in place and run it through my die cutting machine. And the front panel is done. Now the bends. They each have score lines on both ends. So I am going to fold those score lines. And next I am going to add double-sided tape on those 4 little tabs I just created. Now we are going to stick those bends at the back of the panel. I am peeling the backing papers of those 2 bends. I am flipping my panel over, folding the tabs behind, and I am lining the notch on the bend with the notch on the panel, just like that. Now let's do the same on the other side. I am folding the tabs behind, and once again I am lining the notch on the bend with the notch on the panel, and that creates 2 kinds of sleeves that will be helpful later in the process. So the front of the card is done. Now we can work with the other pieces. And I'm first going to fold each starry panel. They both have 2 score lines, so I am scoring them, and next placing them next to each other in a symmetrical way, with the big rectangles on each side, just like so. And now we are going to cut slots in both panels using the slot creator die. The die with the little foot on the left goes on the panel on the left, and the die with the little foot on the right goes on the panel on the right. And we want to place those dies between the score lines and right up against the bottom edge of the panel. As always, I am using washi tape to keep the die in place, and I am going to do the same on the second panel. I am placing the die between the score lines and right up against the bottom edge. Some washi tape to keep everything in place, and then a run through my die cutting machine to cut the slots. The next step is to add double-sided tape on each panel on the slim rectangles. And I am going to bring the foiled panel back and place it between the panels. I am peeling the backing papers of the panel on the left. I am folding it in half, and I am going to align it and stick it on the foiled panel right up against the left-hand edge. Now the second panel, I am peeling the backing papers off, folding the panel in half. I am placing it right up against the first panel to attach it to the foiled panel. So it's looking good already. Now we can bring the insert pieces back. Each piece has 4 little tabs, and we are going to fold those tabs on the score lines. And now the idea is to put one end of the insert piece into that slot. Once it's in it, we can unfold the tabs and then do the same with the other end of the insert piece into the slot, and then unfolding the tabs, and the same again with the second insert piece. We put each end into the slots and then unfold the tabs. Now let's complete the diorama with the front panel we did before. I am placing the starry left flap inside the left sleeve at the back of the front panel, and next the right starry flap inside the right sleeve at the back of the panel. And the base of our diorama is done, well, almost. Just like I did on my two previous dioramas, I like to add handles on each side, just to bring extra decorative details. I cut both pieces out of black licorice cardstock, and I am going to stick them on each end of the diorama using liquid glue. One final step before attaching the images. I am attaching my diorama panel on a 4.5 by 3.25 inches black licorice card base. So now it's time to bring life to this diorama. To stick the images in the back more easily, I removed the front panel and front insert piece, and I am going to attach a house, pumpkins, trees and ghosts directly on the foil panel using 1 mm foam squares. Now let's complete the first insert piece. I am going to stick fences on both ends of the insert piece, and you want to make sure that the image can slide through the slot, otherwise the diorama won't be able to shut properly. So I am arranging several images on that insert piece, and I am using 3 mm glue dots and liquid glue to stick everything. And to make sure that I'm not doing anything wrong, I am closing and opening the diorama multiple times during the process. Now the second insert piece. I am sticking the largest piece right in the middle, and just like the other insert piece, I am making sure that the images I put on each side of the house are able to slide into the slots. So the inside of our diorama is all done. Now it's time to complete our front panel with the biggest images, and I am using 1 mm and 2 mm foam squares. We are almost done, we just need to work on the greeting. And for once I am keeping the footage because I'd like to show you an easy way to make a non-wavy stamp wavy. And basically I am placing the stamp diagonally on the banner. My apologies for putting my big head in the frame. I needed to align the stamp as nicely as possible. Next you pick up the stamp. And now all you have to do is to play with each end of the stamp to line them up with the banner. Now it looks good to me, so I can treat the paper with an anti-static powder bag. I am using FAWN clear embossing ink to stamp my greeting. Next, I am sprinkling silver embossing powder to match the silver foiled starry background. And I am using my heat tool to melt and set the powder. And it's finally time to stick the banner on the front panel, right above the string of pumpkins. Now we can put the front panel back in place, and as a last final detail, I am going to add black ribbon on each decorative handle piece. And that's it guys, it's all done and I love it. It is super cute, super spooky. I hope that you like it. Thank you so much for stopping by and for watching this video. Have a very nice day and see you in the next one. Bye!